Auschwitz, Hannah Arendt would likely draw upon her central ideas from Eichmann in Jerusalem, including the banality of evil, the collapse of independent thought, and the dissolution of personal responsibility within a bureaucratic system. She would find this scene terrifying not for its overt monstrosity, but for its terrifying normality. Here is a breakdown of how Arendt would likely interpret the scene. Normalization of atrocities. Arendt coined the phrase the banality of evil to describe Adolf Eichmann, a key organizer of the Holocaust, whom she found to be surprisingly average and terrifyingly normal bureaucrat. He was not a demonic fanatic, but a career-minded functionary who simply did his job. The image of SS officers on a routine walk to a new hospital exemplifies this very banality. Business as usual. From the perspective of the officers, walking to a new hospital would be a mundane part of their day. They might be concerned with logistics, promotions, or their next meal, the very things that would occupy people's minds everywhere. Arendt point is the atrocity of their surroundings to not penetrate their everyday consciousness. The contrast is the horror. The true horror lies in the stark contrast between their normal seeming activities and the unspeakable reality of what was happening at Auschwitz. Their ability to integrate such mundane tasks into their daily lives while being complicit in mass murder is the essence of banal evil. The failure of thought. Arendt argued that Eichmann's evil stemmed from sheer thoughtlessness, a failure to engage in critical reflection and to imagine the perspective of his victims. The SS officers walking to the hospital demonstrate this collapse of independent thought. The officers' minds are likely occupied with cliché rules and Nazi ideology, leaving no room for genuine moral thought. Their perception of reality has been distorted by the regime to the point that a hospital for SS troops within a death camp does not seem like a monstrous contradiction. No inner dialogue. Arendt believed that independent thinking involves an inner dialogue with oneself, a process of weighing right and wrong. These officers, she would suggest, have no such dialogue. They are simply following orders and the norms of their society, which redefine murder as a civil norm. The relinquishing of personal responsibility. In a totalitarian system, the traditional lines of personal responsibility dissolve. Arendt explains that the bureaucratic machinery of the Third Reich allowed functionaries to see themselves as mere cogs, shifting responsibility away from individual action. Obedience over conscience. The SS officers have prioritized obedience to authority over their own consciences. They justify their actions by the collective will of the Führer, and in doing so, they become morally unaccountable in their minds. The rule of nobody. As Arendt described, bureaucracy can lead to the rule of nobody, where no single person feels personally responsible for the actions of the system. The officers walking to the hospital are part of this massive, dehumanizing system where the true architects of evil are insulated from the consequences and the perpetrators deny accountability. The danger of thinking without a banister. For Arendt, the traditional moral and political banisters that guide human behavior had been shattered by the Holocaust, forcing humanity to think without a banister. The SS officers represent the catastrophic outcome of failing this challenge. And I'm going to examine life. The officers are not rising to the challenge of rebuilding moral tradition. Instead, they are falling back on the cruel and empty certainties of Nazi ideology, which require no thought at all. A failure to act. Their failure to question their roles and responsibility in the face of immense evil is a failure of personal courage. Arendt would view them as having passively allowed evil to occur by not resisting or challenging the structures of injustice. Thanks for listening, everyone. Take care.